Oh yeah, it's time for the crossover. And today's topic is super serious. And we gotta get to it. Everything can't be fun and games, Bridge Nation. We here to help out each other. And that's what we should be doing each and every day. And we talk about abuse in relationships. There are different levels, different types of abuse. Some people don't even realize when it is abuse. Like I remember I had this conversation. I'm gonna keep the name to myself. But somebody very established, someone who I look at as like one of the strong women out there, right? And I remember having this conversation with her, and she was basically talking about sex. Now, as a married woman, she was saying it's her duty to give her husband sex, even if she's not in the mood for it. It's her duty. And like the way she was saying it, y'all know my face, right? Like I was trying everything to put the non-judgmental face on because, listen, what? So whose duty is it to respect you as a person if you do not feel like having sex? What, nobody's? You're just supposed to just do it? I don't know. There's different ways of abuse and people look at abuse different. So we gotta have a specialist when we talk about stuff like this because I don't want to be the only voice to rely on. So today we called in a counseling psychologist, a licensed associate counseling psychologist, Craig McNally. Craig, are you there?
I am very much here. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm in a little bit of pain right now. You know, lady times. It's just what it is.
Okay.
Is that TMI? Is that TMI?
I have a visitor. Guess what? Your show is about being real.
Exactly.
And so there should be, if anybody's listening to this show right now and they are shocked to hear you disclose what you just did, it's their first time, I'm sure.
It clearly is your first time listening.
I just stay.
Tell me, listen, right now I'm trying to stand up through some pain. These pain pills just do not want me to be great today. But it is what it is.
God.
We're talking about a very serious subject. Abuse. Did you hear what I just told you? This is somebody who I respect, so I would never disrespect them. But just to hear women think like that, it kind of freaked me out a little bit. Can you first start off with this conversation? What are some signs you look for that qualify as abuse or you're on the road to be in an abusive relationship?
Right. Well, I could probably start off by saying that your relationship no longer serves you. You're in a situation that no longer serves you. And when I say it no longer serves you, what I mean is that you have some basic needs. And perhaps your first basic need is respect.
Yeah.
You know, you actually have to respect somebody first, and then you grow in love for them. So respect is the foundation. It is so basic. So if you're not getting respect, then, you know, you are probably in trouble. And then there are some other things. You have some other needs that are not being met. Perhaps those are emotional needs. Probably those are functional needs, like you need their help to do certain things. You know, sexual needs, financial needs, whatever is categorized as a need for you, and those are not being met, that's probably a red flag.
Wait, okay. On that right there, I want to pause. Because when we talk about, I have not been married. I cannot speak from the life of a married person. But, I mean, in what I talked about earlier, when I had a conversation with the married woman, she was telling me it's her duty to make sure her man's sexual needs are taken care of at all time. I'm just confused by that. Me and you too, Raw, we confused it.
I saw a TikTok incidentally, might have been last night.
Yeah.
I'll describe it. So there's this guy, he's lying in bed, and his wife is actually the one recording the TikTok. So basically, he's lying there and he's saying, "Hey, honey, we haven't done anything in a whole week. What's going on?" And he talks about his needs, and he says, "I need you. I need sexual pleasure from you at least 7 days a week," which is every day of the week, right?
What?
So she says, "No, you can't. You must be able to survive on at least 3 because I don't want you to pop down my body." well, he goes on to say, it's fool, you fool me off. It's fool, you fool me off, Before we got married, when we were dating, you said to me that we couldn't do it a lot because you didn't want your body to mash up. You needed to save it for your husband. But now that I am your husband, you still don't run nothing. So fool, you fool me off. So there's this idea. It really reinforces the idea that for some people, marriage comes with certain obligations, and you must meet those obligations. You'd be amazed how many relationships fall apart the moment people become married. Because when you become married, for some people, it changes. The relationship changes. There are now some things that you can no longer do that we used to do when we were just boyfriend and girlfriend. And there are some things that you never used to do, but you better start doing them now.
Yeah, like cleaning up people dirty underwear. I ain't in no rush to do none of that.
Right, maybe that might be one of them, right? And sometimes a lot of these ideas come from different places. They come from the movies that we watch on TV, which in many cases are not reality. 2, they come from what we saw in our household growing up among our parents, and how our mother or how our father treated their wife or husband. And sometimes a lot of these ideas also come from religion. And even as we're talking about abuse, if we talk about even physical abuse, well, any kind of abuse, there are actually some faiths, there are some, and I'm speaking specifically here.
No, I know what you're about to say. Please go ahead, speak freely.
Faith, where
when you go to your pastor because your husband has been beating you, and your pastor look at you and say, "Go home and work it out with your husband, baby."
Go and work it out, right? But there are also families. There are also families, mothers in particular,
who will do that.
Who will say to their daughters, "Where you do for disrespect?
Why you trouble the man for you? And sister, the man I deal with you good, and you're living in a big house, and what you trouble him for?"
Right. Your things sort out, life sort out for you. Bear with it. Look upon me and your father. We never have nothing. Right?
Yeah.
And so you're expected to go through this stuff. And sometimes you might even have friends too who will say, look, you have all these niceties,
Are you really trying to give that up?
Right.
Yeah.
And would even want to switch places with you because, hey, what is a lick every once in a while?
That's absolute insanity. And then, I mean, not even just a hit, because we were talking about sex. People talk about a man can't rape you if you're married. Are you out of your mind? Like, I don't get some of the thinking that people have, especially when Google is like right there and you can like learn anything you want to learn. I don't get why people still live with some of these archaic ideas. I get sometimes you are in a religion where pastors will encourage you to work things out, but if I were you, I would leave that church immediately. And sometimes you have moms who, or even, I've never seen that many dads, but you'll have parents or family members who encourage you to stay in the hands of an abuser. I would never speak to that family member again.
May I say, people who take drugs know that drugs are bad for them. I'm talking about illicit drugs, of course.
Of course.
People know that they're bad for them, but they continue because it meets a need. And for some people, when they are love hungry, they are starved for love, starved for acceptance,
attention.
Attention. Sometimes bad love is better than no love at all.
I get it. All right. We can't stay on the phone all day. I wish we could. But I want to say something, and as a psychologist, I want you to tell me, am I on the right path or not in my thinking? Because, I mean, I've been saying it over and over. There's different levels to abuse. There's verbal abuse, physical abuse. There's even a spiritual abuse. There's many ways you can abuse a person. But the question we specifically asked today was, when was it time to exit? So while we have the specialist on the line, I'm going to give my answer. I want him to tell me his opinion of my answer, and then I want to hear your answer. Is that all right, Mr. McNally?
Yeah, man, that's cool.
All right. Now, my feedback on this subject right here, when is it time to exit? First of all, the question is, how much do you love yourself? Because it's a very broad stroke question. The question is, how much do you love yourself? So if you love yourself enough, then you are going to know exactly when it's time to exit. Now, if your love of yourself is dependent upon this person who's next to you, the person who's actually abusing you, then I would say you need to run for the hills now. And you need to start learning how to love yourself enough for yourself. Because any person who's walking around depending on another human being, whether it be your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your mommy, your auntie, your uncle, your daddy, even your kids sometimes, any person that's walking around waiting to be defined by somebody else's love is always going to be taken advantage of by all of these very non-caring forces that are out there. So I would say, if you don't love yourself and your love of self is dependent upon another, you need to leave now and figure yourself out. So that's how I would have answered the question.
All right. I love your answer because,
thanks.
I'm all about self-love and all about valuing oneself and coming to that place where you believe that you deserve good things. And when you use that as your measure and you line it up with what's going on around you, I said, is this a good thing? This isn't a good thing. And if this is not a good thing, then I don't need this in my life. But as a psychologist, of course, I can't just leave it there. Yeah. So if it's okay with you, I'd like to share a couple of things that could point to the need for you to check what's going on in your relationship and probably leave that situation.
You have the floor.
I'm going to just run through them quickly. So here is one. You are no longer communicating. You don't feel valued. The passion is gone. You don't want to fix it. You are over it. You don't want to fix it. Your needs aren't being met. You're seeking those needs from others. You're scared to ask for more from your partner. Your friends and family don't support your relationship. You feel obligated to stay with your partner. You've been working on your relationship for more than a year and nothing has changed. You don't like your partner. I didn't say love. You don't like your partner. And lastly, your partner is abusive. All of those indicators I just listed are not only for women who are with men who are abusive, but they are also for men who are in relationships that are abusive.
That's for anybody in any kind of relationship, any sex, it don't even matter.
Any kind of relationship, any one of those. And one of the commendable things that the government has done recently is to launch a phone line that persons can call if they are, in fact, dealing with intimate partner violence. Now, there's always been some sort of point of contact for women who are in those situations, but recently a phone line has been developed specifically for men who are impacted by intimate partner violence.
I don't think it should be separated. Abuse is abuse. It doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman. I don't find a reason for it to be separated.
Here's the thing.
To me,
No. I hear you, and I totally agree with you. But our culture, we're not there yet.
Well, there are things with our culture that we need to hurry up and get there, because I'm tired of slowly walking there. Okay?
Yeah.
All
I
right.
agree.
Absolutely. To separate them is like, why? Why would they need to have separate conversations? Why? Like, give me a rational reason. They should not have separate conversations. A person, a human being abused is a person, a human being abused, whether it's a man or a woman or a child or anybody.
Right. But if you have a line that a man is able to call, and he's calling that line because he believes that this is made specifically for him, then he's going into it believing that he will be heard.
If you have one line that the citizens of Jamaica believed really helped them when they were in need, then advertise that one phone number to all of the citizens and make all of the citizens know that anytime you as a human, man or woman, is in problems, to call this line.
Right.
There is no need to separate.
Right.
And that's why we have so much misogyny now. That's why we have so much confusion on gender roles, period. And that's why we have the way things are now. People need to understand how to be better humans, all right? If you want to learn how to be a better man, well, Google, read a book or two.
I wish it were that easy.
It is. People just don't make it is.
I hear you. I do hear the point you're making. I don't agree with you, You
ain't got to.
I hear the point you're making, right? Yeah, it's not that easy. It is a layered issue, and but I do agree that if we are providing these kinds of human services, then we need to provide human services that project to the people that anybody can access it, and that these services are open and ready
to everybody. Exactly.
Right.
And we need a line. I mean, they say there's been a line for sexual abuse and things like that in Jamaica, but I would love to see things stepped up a notch. I would love for people to understand not to be afraid to talk. I would love it if there was less reasons for so many vloggers and people on social media to put little comedic things about what it's like reporting rape or abuse to the police. I would like it not to seem like it's a reality. You know what I mean? But unfortunately, so many people do believe it as a reality, and that's what I'll say about that.
And we also need to get to the place that when someone has been abused, when someone has been assaulted, despite who it is, whether they are a minister in government or a well-known entertainer, we need to call up names and just be very straightforward, because if we don't, then we are adding to, we are protecting, and we are not dealing with the situation.
Yeah, and if you don't start naming your abusers, just remember you're leaving your abuser that free reign space to do it to somebody else. We gotta go. Woo! I hate when we start this and gotta cut it, because y'all know how I feel about this topic. I swear, like, this is where I want to put on my superhero outfit, and then I wish for the superpowers to just be able to see predators and villains.
You remember that.
I will never. It's my dream. How would I forget my dream? This has been my lifelong dream, to exterminate predators. Sir, I can't forget a dream I've had since I've been young. It just is what it is. But we gotta take a break before my producer cuss me out, and we'll come back with more music, because I feel like playing Tessan Fire. Let's go.